Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Two Sides of a Coin podcast. My name is Nkosi. Also on the podcast is my friend John Moore. You want to say hi, John?
Hey everybody! Afternoon.
Yeah. All right. If you guys have continued to listen to us, thank you. For those of you who haven't listened to us before, we're a podcast that talks about food in New York City, as well as just pop culture and stuff like that. So, today we're going to take a little bit of a shift, and we're just not going to talk about anything active, but we're going to talk about something that John really hates, which are we're going to talk about reboots, bad reboots
Thank you.
that John hates, and we each have a list. So after John talks about some of the places to go in New York City, we're gonna dive, and this is gonna be a very spiteful podcast. So sass
Yes.
will happen on both sides.
Yes.
Um,
And I'm gonna start this with my food reviews. So I'm sorry, but just know I really don't feel reboots. I really don't. Not much of a fan. But there's one thing that helped me get over reboots, and that's good food. Real good food. So, number one, and this is definitely, this restaurant is your definite go-to backup when, like, you need something to back up. Seriously. And the name of this restaurant, I have to say, and I love it dearly, you can't go wrong. Surprisingly, it's dine-in theater, and it's called the Alamo DraftHouse. Very popular. A lot of us know of it, but to give all you who aren't aware of the Alamo DraftHouse, they now have four locations. They have one in Staten Island. We got one in Manhattan. We have one in Brooklyn and Yonkers. My favorites are the Manhattan and Yonkers one, per se.
Ooh, why don't you tell everybody about the Manhattan location, because that one I think has the most interesting way to get there of all the Alamo draft houses in New York.
Oh yeah. It really is an interesting one. It really is an interesting one. So they have it. The Alamo Draft House is located on Liberty Avenue, 28 Liberty Avenue, and here's where it's like a bonus. You can take the train. You can get off the train, but it's a certain time. You have to get there before 6. You have to be going there. So, like, if your movie listing is, I would say, at 3, you're good. You'll be able to take this subway exit into the building where Alamo Draft House is. And I gotta say, I had a very good time. And I think this is very well convenient to have train station access to a movie theater. I mean, where do we have that possible? I mean, I know I mean, we have movie theaters that are walking distance from the train, but for one to be have an actual connection where you can exit from the train station and go to the movie theater, and half the time have to expected, walking and all of that. Hey, I love it. I love the Manhattan location. And on top of that, they do trivia nights and live jazz band nights. I don't know if for all people who aren't familiar with Alamo Draft House is a very good establishment, dine-in theater. They do a whole lot for all ages. So for senior citizens, for example, they do the movie marathons. For like movies that had like a lot of sequels. I'm talking about One thing that they did a lot, they've done consistently was the Rocky Balboa.
The Rocky Balboa?
Yeah, they do a Rocky Balboa where they show all the Rocky movies leading all the way up to Creed.
Huh.
It's very good. It's a very good event. They sell a lot of Rocky they'll have well, I know the their merchandising at the Manhattan location is coming to a close.
Are they just not getting enough people at the Manhattan location?
No, they're getting a lot of people. It's just that the merch stuff that they have there, not a lot of it's they haven't been able, well, it doesn't sell too much, but the stuff that they do sell, they decided to just like, well, we're going to just put everything online. So like you can now when you go to the online website, the website for Alamo DraftHouse, you can also purchase like little nostalgia toys and stuff like that, games, tiki mugs,
Okay.
action figures and stuff like that. Definitely, definitely. Alamo DraftHouse in Manhattan. Definitely, guys, check out. They also have a very good stocked bar, and they do one thing that I enjoy about going to Alamo DraftHouse is that the depending on the movie, they always have a seasonal drink, like food dish, or alcoholic beverage in commemorating to the movie. Like we had when I went to see the Spider-Man movie, they had a Green Goblin, like a Green Goblin drink. Real good, by the way. And the next restaurant I'm going to talk about that works is that helped me get through one reboot that I'm going to mention is Opai Thai. Opai Thai is a pad thai restaurant, really good, and they do have some sushi rolls that are good. They have a dragon roll that is on point, nice, and surprisingly, I don't really do much of the vegetable rolls, but they have an asparagus roll, and it's not bad. You've been to the restaurant with me, Kennedy. We went that time that year me and you went to Comic Con.
I mean, it's a vague thing at this point. If I haven't been somewhere
Yeah.
in like a year or two, then it just starts to lose for me. But
Yeah.
okay.
But they've recently done some renovations into the restaurant, and it's changed over. It used to be like it was like a little small spot over on 34th, like not 34th Street. Yeah, right over on 8th Avenue between 31st and 32nd Street on 8th Avenue, not Ninth, on 8th. And it's a really good restaurant. Moving on my restaurants, and I really feel I understand we have Golden Corral in Kennedy. If you know where I'm going with this, if you want to stop me, you can stop me.
If you're gonna talk about like a Golden Corral or like a Cracker Barrel type thing, then you can absolutely stop right now.
Nope. The restaurant that I want to come back to New York, and I was really hurt by this restaurant going. It really hurt me, but I wanted to come back. Southern Hospitality BBQ. I really want that restaurant back. I mean, the portions, the nachos, the nachos. Oh my goodness, people, the nachos were so amazing. If we could get a reboot of that restaurant, hey, I'm cool. I'm cool. I'm all down for it. That would be my go-to restaurant. You know,
Well, John, you're right. I'm not gonna fight you on it because I do not remember that place.
but it's real good. It's real good. It's Southern Hospitality BBQ. Was located in Hell's Kitchen. Was there for a very long time, and then they closed their doors. But like, I was like, man, if we had to get another one, if we have to bring back a restaurant, bring back that one. Because I could go there for it to watch a game at the bar, have some not slamming nachos, um, have some chicken and waffles, and they had a brisket sandwich, man, that just spoke to me. It just spoke to me.
I'm glad something spoke to you because the name of the restaurant doesn't speak to me. I don't remember this place at all.
But yeah, definitely, 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 everybody, definitely check out these spots, and we can now go into the main event.
Yeah, I mean, so John, you really had some very strong opinions when you suggested this topic because I think your main thesis was there are some TV shows that are just not either not good or not a good idea to reboot irregardless of it because you told me you wanted this to be irregardless of the quality of the reboot. So
Hmm.
here's the way I see it going. We'll each we each had three that we listed. I'll let you begin because it sounds like you're really angry about all the reboots that you're talking about. You'll talk about one, and then I'll talk about one, and we'll trade off from there. Is that good?
Fair enough.
Okay. So, hey, the floor is yours for your first TV show.
Okay, so my very first, is an anime, and I kind of hold this anime real dear to me, B, because it was an anime I was able to introduce to my nieces and nephew. And when I seen this reboot, I was a part of me in my core was one, I was confused. I was really confused because I was like, wait, this didn't happen. Whoa, this looked like a lot of the things didn't go in the way that I remembered it. And I sat down and then I went back over and over, and I did a lot of searching. I mean, a lot of searching. And the show I'm talking about per se is Bee and Puppy Cat. Bee and Puppy Cat originally was good. The original, good. It did not need to reboot it. There was nothing broke from the original series, how they had it, that they needed to fix and reboot. There was nothing. And for anyone who know of Bee and Puppy Cat, originally we got that in College Humor Cartoon Universe on the Nintendo 3DS app, like the little it was like a little cartoon watch on the Nintendo 3DS where they gave you like announcement about games and stuff. Yeah, B and the new B and Puppy Cat. No, not. I am not a fan of this reboot. I'm not a fan. I will watch it, but I may watch it if like I have nothing else to watch and I need something that's punnyish that I know is going to make me feel a little giddy, laugh a little, make me forget about whatever bad could be bothering me. That's the only thing that would probably be making me want to watch the show. But if I'm going to watch the show, I'm going to look for the original. I mean, the way they do the beginning, the first episode. Let me start tackling the first episode. So in the first episode, of Bee and Puppy Cat is where the original one was where they are with a baby. And no, sorry. The new one's with the baby. The old one was with a fish. So you got a fish. I was like, okay, all right, this is something interesting, And then all of a sudden, a creature after Puppy Cat goes and starting telling people about start telling the tale about a prince and a princess, right? And this goes on throughout the whole series where they're telling you a story connected to something totally else. And but it's tied to the actual main characters. And I tell you, when they did it that way, I was like, okay, I understand. I'm tuned in. When I watched this, I'm like totally lost. Like in the first episode, I was able to of the original, I was able to put together, okay, um, Puppy Cat and Bee were came together on point. They had Bee. She thought she was daydreaming about cats, like very unique form cats, and then boom, pops out of nowhere, Puppy Cat. And their bond is assured right then and there. And it's not even that long of an episode. The way they did this episode is they over with the reboot, they stretched everything. It's like they put in one episode, two episodes. So one thing I've seen in you'll see in the third or fourth episode of the reboot is they're talking about Bee's origin, how when Bee was a kid she got sick, and how her father helped her get better. And I'm like, wait, they kind of knocked this out early, well, late in the original. Like it was one, two, three. This one they string it out into two episodes, and then I'm like, wow, like this reboot is I'm not a fan of, but I will definitely watch it if I just need like a little bit of humor to help me get over something.
All right. Well,
Yeah,
I think I understand where like our ideas were, because I think your reboots are going to be not necessarily bad shows, but just shows that don't jive with a part of your childhood. And I think when I'm talking about reboots, I'm going to talk about actual bad shows, like things that did not deserve a reboot.
right.
And because, I mean, from what it sounds like, you're just saying this show didn't need to be rebooted. It was as good as it was, but it doesn't sound like you're saying the show was actually bad.
Right. Show wasn't bad. It didn't deserve a reboot. I
Okay.
know that for a fact.
That is fair. That's fair. Uh,
Did not deserve a reboot. Like
okay, well, hey, that
I have another show, but I want you to go. I want you to go with yours.
all right. So, uh, the shows I'm going to talk about are shows that are actually bad. The original shows are good, but this shows were actually just terrible, and I would not go watch it even if you paid me. The first one that I'm going to talk about is a TV show that had not only television success but also movie success. This show had three movies attached to it that were all successful, and that prompted it to actually get rebooted. The show failed, and then they tried to reboot it again with another movie. Now, I know this sounds very confusing to a lot of people, but that's because you're not thinking of the 2018, not 2018, it's actually 2011. I was confusing it with the movie, but the 2011 TV show, the reboot of the classic Charlie's Angels.
Oh
This
my
was a
goodness,
show
you.
that nope, nope. Hey, let me. This is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about bad shows. This is a
No, but
show
that
that
was one. That was one on
yep,
my list.
no, I hey, So this show had Minka Kelly, Rachel Taylor, Anna Lozen, and the funny thing is about the Bosley in that show. The Bosley in that show actually ended up being in the MCU. His character was Bakuda, for those of you who remember from the very bad season one of Iron Fist.
Yeah.
Uh, but yes, when we talk about bad shows, this was a bad show. The actors weren't necessarily bad. Minka Kelly, Rachel Taylor, and Annie Lozen can act, but this is the perfect selection of a bad premise around bad writing group that's like an echo chamber
Mm-hmm.
that tried to be a little bit too edgy, a little bit too campy, both at the same time. The show was just lazy. It was uninspired. It only lasted for a single season. It, I mean, when you watched it, the action, the energy in that show, just it was DOA on arrival from the second you saw it. And the actors are actually trying to do their best, but they just can't do enough to raise the dead script back to life and make it into something that's decent. I mean, it only lasted for one season, and honestly, it could have been a lot shorter. So, yeah, 0 out of 10, wouldn't recommend. There's a reason why none of these actors are talking about this show and just pretending like it never existed. Um, but yeah, I mean, Charlie's Angels. Go
Yeah.
back to the original TV show. Go back to the movies with Lucy Liu and
Mm-hmm.
Drew
Drew
Barrymore.
Barrymore.
So yeah, go back to those. Even the newer Charlie's Angels movie, the one with the one with the girl from Twilight. I really should say her name. I
Um.
don't remember it right now, but the girl from Twilight. You all know who I'm talking about. But you could watch all those. When you see this, hard skip over it and just forget it ever existed. So John, yeah, go into your next one.
Well, that was my next one.
All right.
That was my next one. Was the Charlie's Angels, and yeah, I everything you said, Kennedy, basically was what I was going to bring to the table. I will now bring in my last show that I felt did not deserve um, a reboot, but they really did try. That it stretched to like I think stretched to four seasons. Was I'm sadly to say it, but Charmed. Charmed was the original Charmed was a good show. There was nothing wrong with it. But the reboot, I tried in the beginning when I first seen it. My expectations was high. I even tried to sell people on that it was going to be a good reboot. And it was not going into it was not. Nope. The like the original, they gave everyone a storyline. It had more. It wasn't too, but this one, it was like a lot of poor. Like they just decided, like, oh, we'll throw in some poor writing for this episode and then make up for our losses in the next two. Like we get one big bad. We had one big bad. When the original trial, we had one big bad, and that big bad had a long season arc. In the reboot, like when they did the source, that was the first one they went after. I was like, I don't think they should have went with the source as the first one. If I had to choose, I would have did um like with I would have did the triad as a first. If you're going to do the reboot, I would do like one, how they got into the powers, and then okay, boom, we went against the triad. You know, that would have been better. That would have been good. But what they literally did was copy what the original charm did, but decided to add some points here and there, some new points here and there, like the way that they had with the whole, how they talked about the white lighters, and I'm like, I know white lighters were good, they flourished. Okay, now there's only one white lighter because all of them were taken out. Yeah, I feel like with if they were going to do a reboot of I think they should have definitely, most definitely took more, they should have definitely put more effort into it. The actresses were great. The actresses were great, but they were just like, they were trying to reboot something that you could have simply just turned on live stream from Netflix. You know?
Yeah, no. Honestly, I I don't hate the new Charmed like you did. I actually thought that they did some things better than the old version of Charmed. Like I
Hmm.
looked at it recently and I realized like it's I think it's a lot of like rose tinted glasses with that show, but hey, I'm not going to devalue it cuz I haven't kept up with it at all. So, you know, if but it sounds like it's more disappointing than it's bad, though. Am I wrong?
Um, it was more disappointing, but bad definitely followed it. If you see the last season of it, yeah, brother. Yeah.
All right. Well, I just remember the old version of Charmed, and it was not good after like the first like 5 6 seasons. It dragged on too long. But
Well, I mean, I like the one season. I like. Wait, when you say what you mean the last season where it's like all of them come together?
no, I mean like the I mean Charmed was on like 8 9 seasons, and it should
Yeah.
have ended like 2 3 seasons before that.
So you saying it should have ended in season six?
Yeah, like they really didn't have anything to say, but that's just me about the original Charmed. But I that's not one that let me go into my second one cuz I'm sorry I ran over your Charlie's Angels, but
I was really, really, really. I didn't. I was really. That's why I was really rolling my dice with this with the topic, because I was like, I really hope we don't clash and have the same one.
well, hey man, You know, that's just the way it goes. But
Yeah,
uh, I
I'm not mad about it. I'm accepting it.
yeah, but I would say that the second one that I have here, uh, it's a show just like Charlie's Angels that they tried to bring back. It's not incredibly. Uh, it was okay when it first came out, but it was more hype and spectacle than anything else. I would say the problem with it were just the characters were
Hmm.
so bad, and the script writing was just subpar. That I mean, they originally was supposed to have like a 22 episode first season, and they cut that, and then it just never came back for season two. And I'm really thankful that NBC did not bring it back for season two, because if they had, I would have been incredibly disappointed. And that's the 2008 version of the very popular TV show, the show that made David Hasselhoff a household name in Knight Rider. Uh, it's
Oh,
it's a show that most people don't even remember, and that's a good thing. The reboot. Uh, the show basically centered around the son of the original Knight Rider character, and him with a new version of Kit, which could now not only do its super pursuit mode, it could do an attack mode, it could transform into other cars, it could do all this crazy stuff, and his love interest. And so, to put it bluntly, it was just terrible. It didn't make any sense. It had to deal a lot more with like terrorism and stuff like that, which is also weird. They also brought Carr back, and I mean, I kind of feel bad. The person who I honestly feel bad for about this is Val Kilmer, because he was the voice of Kit for the show. And yeah, I mean, this it was a bad show, so bad. Oh God, it. And the sad part is, you could have made a Knight Rider TV show that was actually good. You could have made it.
yeah.
They still could, but it was so bad, so bad. Oh God, it yeah, it made me mad seeing it, and the more I saw it, the angrier I got. Where I actually had to stop watching it for a while and then go back to watching it. I got mad, and it was just like a repetitive cycle. So I gave it my all, and honestly, it wouldn't have been worth like a $2 budget, let alone what it had. So yeah, Knight Rider, do not see it. You will just get angry, and nobody should just get angry watching a TV show. Um,
Nah, no one should be getting angry watching a TV show. You're absolutely right there.
but yeah, John, do you have any honorable mentions for your third, since I took Charlie's Angels from you?
I don't. I sadly don't, and it hurts.
All right.
I feel so hurt about that week, and a part of me said, "It, nah, that's not gonna happen." I mean, it's not gonna happen. What's the chances of this happening? I mean, when you mentioned the Knight Rider, I didn't. That was one. That was a show that wasn't on my list, but I didn't even expect you coming. I was really hoping I would have come in like here comes the boom with the Charlie's Angels one, you know. But yeah, I feel that they were trying too hard with Charlie's Angels, you
Well,
know.
they weren't trying hard enough with Charlie's Angels. That's the problem. If they were trying too hard, it could have been good, but they weren't trying hard enough.
Right.
But yeah, so I'm gonna go into my third one, and it's going to be different because it's not an actual, scripted TV show. It's actually a comedy, and
Hmm.
yeah. So I'm not gonna do any big lead up here. I'm just gonna say it, and then I'm gonna explain what I mean, and that is the 15th season of the incredibly popular, well loved on my end, TV show, well, sketch comedy show, Mad TV. For those who don't know what Mad TV was a show that came out in like the 90s, came out in like
Yep.
1995. It was at the beginning of itself, like for a 5 6 year run, it would stand toe to toe with like the other big name sketch comedy show, which was Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, that's
And
right.
it had some amazing people on there. Orlando Jones was on there
Mhm.
for a season. Uh, Alex Borstein,
Mhm.
Phil Lamar, Nicole Sullivan. You also had Deborah Wilson, Will Sasso
Mhm.
got his
Well,
start there. A couple.
Arian Spears.
No, let's not talk about Aries Spears. Yeah,
Okay. He
you
was
can
on the
leave that one
show.
to the. No, not with all the stuff that's happening with him right now.
Oh,
Nope.
okay.
Mm-mm.
All right,
Don't
fine, 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 fine.
don't
We won't talk
don't care
about
how good he is. That stuff is yeah. I I'm conveniently forgetting Aries Spears was ever on the show, and that is on purpose. Um, but yeah, it was a great show. It was actually on for a long time, a lot longer than most people thought, because the original run went from like October of 95 to like May of 2009. So I don't think many
it.
people realized that it was on for that long. But then it ended, and then they did like, I think they did a special where a bunch of the original cast came back, and or the most popular cast members came back, and they were doing a little bit of airing and all that stuff,
Yeah.
and it was a little successful. And then the CW decided, hey, we'll bring the show back with a new cast, and we'll have the old cast
Mhm.
members come in and show their stuff, and it's going to be great, and it well and truly was not. It
Nope.
was a terrible idea. I mean,
Yep.
when you did you see uh the new Mad TV, John?
I saw it and I was very disappointed. I was very disappointed. It's like they because when I first saw Mad TV, I'm like, this is Mad TV, Mad TV, the little comic books with the little freckled guy. You know,
Hmm.
that's my childhood, man, and you just messed it up.
I mean, it was a bad TV show. I mean, most of the people that were on that season are people that you probably wouldn't don't even know about. Like,
No,
there was Chelsea Davidson. There was, Peter Michael, Michelle Ortiz, Adam Ray. You might know who Adam Ray is,
yeah,
but definitely not from Mad TV. It
nope.
was very bad, and I think what made me appreciate about the original Mad TV was the writers' room for the original
Mhm.
Mad TV was so solid that it really lent weight to a lot of that stuff. And really, what this new version of Mad TV, I just think it was a bunch of people that were trying to make jokes in an echo chamber. And
Mhm.
I follow a lot of comedy people on like YouTube and Twitter and all that stuff. And the big thing they say is that most comedy will fall flat if you're only looking at it from like an echo chamber kind of way, not like a joke, but like when you're trying to do like sketch comedy or stuff like that, then you
Mhm.
need to have your finger on the pulse. And I think its finger was on a corpse, which is why it
Mhm.
died. Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, I'm glad that it ended there. I will remember fondly the late 90s version of Mad TV, even the early 2000s. And I will just very calmly put this season of Mad TV in the same boat that I put the Avatar The Last Airbender movie, where there is no
Oh,
Avatar The Last Airbender movie. I have no idea
Never
what that
happened.
is.
It
It
never happened. I
it
don't know what you're
never
talking about.
it never happened.
It never happened.
And you know,
I think that was something fan made.
I don't even know what you're talking about. I'm just waiting
Mm.
for another thing from Nickelodeon. Uh,
Yeah.
or are you talking about Avatar 2, the new Avatar? I mean, that might be interesting,
Oh,
but
that will be definitely interesting.
I don't know if that's going to be interesting, but it's going to be better than whatever that thing we were talking about was.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, definitely better than that.
but yeah, I mean, now that we finished our self care of
Mm.
selective amnesia, uh,
Yes.
I think that's a good place to end the episode. So, John, tell people where they can find you.
You can find me on Fat Man Love Anime NYC 21 on Instagram. Feel free to check me out. Ask me what animes I'm watching. What is there a place I can go to that complements the anime I'm going to I want to watch and binge watch through? Definitely hit me up because I have a very long list of animes that that are good, that you can't just watch this anime, just watch it alone. You got to have this certain dish with it, you know? Like when I watched like I was saying, if you followed if you caught the last our fifth episode, I talk about um Nangam barbecue and the wedges. Yes. Feel free to go back to the episode, hear me talk about those wedges. Those wedges were good. And yeah, do hit me up on Fat Man Love Anime and my C21.
All right. And I will say for myself, as I say all the time, if you're trying to find me on any of my personal social media accounts, don't. But if you want to just contact us or anything like that, you can reach out to us through email at two
Mhm.
sides podcast at gmail.com. That's TWOSIDEZ podcast at gmail.com. You can find
Mhm.
us on Instagram at
Oh yeah.
two sides of a coin. You can find us on Twitter at two sides coin. Um, you know, you can find our podcast available there on Spotify or anywhere that you would listen to your podcast. And
And when you put it in, sorry to cut you off. And when you put it in, remember to add the Z on sides.
that is why I spelled out SIDEZ. John.
Yeah, sorry. Just wanted to, sorry.
But
My bad.
yeah. Anyways, guys, we will catch you later.
Later.